The Gospels of Mark, Matthew, and Luke all point out how at the beginning of his ministry, Jesus called his disciples to himself, and from them he chose 12, whom he also named apostles. From then on, the 12 stayed with him and received his special attention. After his resurrection, when their preparation was complete, he gave them their mission. He delegated to them his authority to forgive sins and commanded them, "As the Father has sent me, so I send you." And as soon as the apostles received the Holy Spirit at Pentecost, they began to fulfill that command. They traveled throughout the world, establishing Christian communities everywhere. They organized these communities in the same way that they had been organized by Christ. After preaching, baptizing, and confirming the founding members of each community, they appointed overseers, bishops, and elders, presbyters or priests, to continue the work of evangelization there. And then they would move on and do the same thing elsewhere. This process is discernible in the writings of the New Testament, although it is never described in detail there. It didn't need to be, since the early Christians all experienced it firsthand. Even so, St. Paul mentions it explicitly. For example, in his second letter to Timothy, chapter 2, verse 2, where he writes, "What you have heard from me, entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also." St. Paul alludes to 4 generations in this one sentence. First, his own generation, which includes the 12 apostles. Then, Timothy's generation of bishops appointed by those apostles. Then, the generation of bishops that will come after Timothy, and then the ones that will come after them. Already around the year 96 AD, Pope St. Clement I was able to write, "Through countryside and city, the apostles preached, and they appointed their earliest converts, testing them by the Spirit, to be the bishops and deacons of future believers. And afterwards, they added the further provision that, if they should die, other approved men should succeed to their ministry." Clearly, the first Christians saw themselves as members of an apostolic church, a church that could trace its origins back to the first 12 apostles.